Give it up for Adrienne King and Amy Steele. If you got questions, microphones in the center.
All these survivors here.
Alright, I hope you guys are doing great today. I need each of you to plead me your cases on why Alice or Ginny is the better final girl.
Say it again.
I need you guys to plead your cases on why Alice or Ginny is the better final girl.
Ooh. Defend your character.
I think Ginny is. No, I mean, honestly, she developed the character to in a phase where she actually used her brain. Whereas Alice, she was depending on her brawn, and she didn't have much. Well, we all love Alice.
Ginny learned from the best. From Alice. So it's like anything. You have to do pieces from the master, and then you create your own masterpiece.
And you thought you were going to get a fight, did you?
Maybe.
We totally diffuse. Women have a way of doing that, don't they? Make the fight into something even better. Even better. It's called lash.
How do you guys feel that you're part of one of the greatest horror franchises of all time?
It's pretty cool right here. You know, I mean,
1,000 years
later.
It's basically prehistoric.
But the best. And you guys are the best. You've hung in with us for all these years, you know? So I always say we have the best fans Friday the 13th. I just say that because it's true.
Alright, thank you guys.
Sorry you didn't get a flag,
So, to piggyback off of that, it's been 45 years since the first movie. Are you guys surprised that it's still attracting the fan base that it does, and it's currently going through a resurgence with this whole Jason universe thing?
Yeah. Really, the first one we ran out of money 3 times. We were an independent movie with an extremely low budget, and when we couldn't figure out the first time we tried to do the canoe scene, it was nice and warm with 1 camera, and back then everything needed film, and film was expensive, and they decided that it didn't do what it was supposed to do, make you jump. So they were trying to figure out how to make it better, and they said, well, we'll do it with 2 cameras, so they have to go back to their investors and ask for more money, which takes time. And so by the time we did the 2 cameras, it was later in the year, in the month. And we were talking right after Labor Day, so by like the end of September in Blairstown, New Jersey, so we know the weather, right? And hey, Blairstown? There we go. And they decided it wasn't exactly what they wanted, and they just, Tom and Sean and whoever came up with the idea of the slow motion camera. Well, my goodness, they had to go back to the investors, and that was different film. And so, yes, the third, it sounded creepy. It's going to sound like that's what I thought was happening. I thought that Jason was coming for us, or Mrs. Voorhees. So anyway, yes.
Special effects this day and age.
Yeah, exactly. That's the special effects. So yeah, we. So where was I? And I haven't even had a sip of wine yet, so there's no excuse for the brain. No, seriously, where was I? Slow-mo camera, yes, and so that took till the middle of October, and it was the absolute last scene of the movie that we did, and we didn't know whether or not we had a shot when we left, and because of film, you can't see it right away on your phone. So we found out the next day that they got it, and I don't even remember the question, right? I would throw the continuity, I would grab continuity photos, I grabbed any notes that were made, because I didn't think we were gonna actually finish the movie. And I'm an artist, always been an artist, and I said, I will make the best collage, so I'll remember this experience, you know? Well, needless to say, they all got put in the box with my script and everything, and I found it 25 years later when I moved, because Friday the 13th, they finished. And we actually finished the movie, so I'm shocked. And yes, when they came, when we saw it, when I first saw it in the screening room and saw Mr. Paramount, the two distributors, one from Paramount and one from Warner Brothers, in the back of the screening room with the director, Sean Cunningham. At the end of the movie, my mom was there with me, and she jumps 20 feet into the air at the right spot, and I turn around, and he's shaking his hand and he's shaking his hand. So they both wanted it the first time we screened it. So at that point, I realized it was going to make it.
So any Betsy Palmer stories you guys can share from your time on set? There's been 4 women who have played Mrs. Voorhees and 2 have passed away. Just wondering if you guys have any Betsy Palmer stories you could share.
Betsy Palmer was the only Mrs. Voorhees. I don't know who else they brought in. The only reason they didn't bring in Betsy was because of money, which really sucks. Because she made them a $1 billion franchise, and they wouldn't even give her another dime. And she went to Sean and she asked him for minimum, and he said no, and he hires another woman. So I don't know who the other women were, but Betsy Palmer was Mrs. Voorhees. And my story, oh my God, she's like an amazing woman. She really brought my game. She would talk to me during the movie. She kept it very, very formal and severe. And she scared the Jesus out of me, and she was the best gift a young actress could have had. So I always bless her for me being here, because I wouldn't be here, I don't think, without her as Mrs. Voorhees.
I don't have any Betsy stories, but it does make me feel better because for part 3, I didn't go back. I mean, there was a great script that was offered and everything, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but what I assume from hearing some of the other stories is that my agent asked me for a little bit more money to do part 3 since I've done part 2, and I think they said no. And then when I found out from Adrienne that Betsy Palmer did the same thing, they said, how about a little bump? And they said no. And so I thought, I don't feel so bad anymore. I mean, it wasn't my fault for that stuff.
Yeah, the women were replaceable, you know. That's why we have so many final girls. You know, in part 2, it was like they weren't going to pay me anything else. So what do? Get rid of her.
Can I turn it over to the audience?
Just a tie-in question on the Betsy Palmer thing. So, Adrienne, wasn't there a scene where you guys were fighting? I forget. Like, was it you that actually hit her, or she hit you? Like,
Oh my God, we hit each other. I mean, everything you see there, it looks real because it
it
was.
was.
The first thing she said to me when we were stepping on, so that scene started as the sun set and didn't end until the sun rose. And as we walked onto the sand, she said, I'm not pulling any punches, and either are you. The camera sees everything, and it's going to be down and dirty if it's going to be right. And she said, so fight for your life. And we did. We did. And what you see is so real because when she smashed my head in the sand, she's really doing it. I mean, full force.
How old was Betsy?
I tried to figure that out, and I think she's probably 20 years younger than I am now. I think she was about 50. Yeah. Yeah. Is that crazy?
Thank you. Great seeing you guys. I met you guys both up at Mahoney, which that was very fun.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. Well, thank you for that question. Yeah. She was an amazing woman.
Betsy was
53. See? Yeah, she was a young cookie, but they thought, you know, in their mind she was old, you know, because women are old Hollywood at 50, at 30 when I'm old.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like, yeah.
Come on.
Hi, how are you both?
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Is that Giancarlo over there?
She remembers.
With a name like that, oh my God.
I'm such a big fan of you both. I don't know if this has been asked, like, not to stray too far away from Friday the 13th, but as actresses, what are your favorite films?
Great question.
Well,
Shawshank Redemption.
Wow, good choice.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Go ahead.
Wizard of Oz. You get horror and music.
I was hoping to get that answer. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm going to have to check some of those out.
Next up.
Hi. I think you two are. I think the franchise is going to come back in a few years, and you got a ton of movies over the next few years. I mean, I know there was some kind of lawsuit going on or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to know about the lawsuit, you find Larry Zerner, who is Shelley in part 3. Shelley.
Oh.
He knows everything about that. As far as, yeah, I know. Exactly. We wouldn't have a mask except for Shelley. If I remember.
There's a series now.
I was going to say, yeah, so there's a series called Crystal Lake. That's, I believe they just finished shooting their first season. That's supposed to be out, I think, next year. We'll see what happens with that.
But
And
there was no Alice or Ginny.
no Alice or Ginny. They wanted to put Alice off camp, and I said, no, Alice has to be at camp. Not Alice, me as a character, because obviously I would be playing a different character, but I wanted to be someone, if they're doing a prequel, who was from the town back then, you know? When Brian Fuller was attached to it, I loved my role, but it wasn't crazy about this one. They offered me, so I declined it, but I wish them luck, because the series needs some new blood, you know, it really does, so to speak, right? And as far as the film, Give Us Part 13, Sean Cunningham, I don't know. Not until he probably kicks the bucket. Because there's just so much animosity around, just between the families and between the writer and Victor Miller. It's just a nonsense when it's all about the fans. They forget about who made them richer things, you know? And it's the fans, and they don't care. They care about, and unfortunately, you know, we're going to have to wait until somebody.
So either one of them.
I don't know that they're both in the industry. I mean, seriously, I'm closing in on it, so I can say this, but seriously, I don't know. It just makes no sense to me that after a decade, 14 years since 2009, since the reimagining, that somehow they couldn't come together and make part 13. If you don't want to do one after that, fine, but let's stop at 12. No, that's the end of my answer. I have nothing more to add to that. Do you? Greedy bastards.
Well, we listen to you. Well, the original movies are still very awesome, and you two as well, both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's such an honor and pleasure to meet you guys. Both of you are amazing. I was telling Amy that she looks great. You both look great. I was just always curious which of the franchise did you guys enjoy the most? Like from a fan standpoint? A favorite Jason, a favorite Friday, or?
I like
I love her too.
Well,
And I
since
like part two.
I do. No, seriously, I love part one, obviously. Love part two for other reasons. But,
What do you think
what I
happened?
love the most, honestly, is the camaraderie that's developed among all the actors at these conventions, you know, because we didn't know each other before we met at the shows. Not really. I didn't know you, I don't think, until I met you in 2004. I think our first, yeah. So that's what I really appreciate, besides meeting you and seeing you all, and it's so much fun to see people, you know, every few years or whatever, and you show me the pictures we took together like 10 years ago, and then somebody had one today from that show in 2004. It's like, oh my God, you know, so it's great, we get to know you, you become part of our family, you know, so it's really, that's what I like the most about it. Forget the movies, I like the shows.
Well, I just want to say, guys, keep doing what you're doing. I've heard people walk around the space and say nothing but great things out down to earth. You guys are how pleasant you've been to interact with and sign autographs. You guys are wonderful. So thank you. You're legends.
Thank you so much.
You know, I was thinking the same thing about you. Kind and approachable and.
Oh my God, you okay?
Yeah. His wife couldn't make it today, so we're going to say, listen, your husband has been a joy and is so kind and courteous.
He really is a good man. And he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looks good too. And you know what? He looks good too.
Yeah. And I like your wardrobe.
Thank you.
Oh, and his shirt too. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I left my mask in the car too.
Oh, nice.
So I may go back and come back and
Just to show us.
Yes.
Adrienne, when you were approached for part two, did you know initially you were going to be having a splitting heading in the movie, or was that kept under wraps?
Oh, when I'm in the premiere?
No, for the second movie, did you know you were going to be off the meeting, or was that kept under wraps? What was that?
I said, you don't really want to know about that. It was ugly. It was really ugly. The ice pick didn't retract, okay?
Who doesn't know about the ice pick?
Who doesn't know about the ice pick?
Okay, I don't know about the ice pick. I'm just going to use my head.
Ice pick. All right, here we go. Sit back, you know, this is going to be a long story. So I get up there, no script. I trusted the wrong people. I get up there to find out. They finished the movie, except for my scene. The movie's already done. Okay. What? Yeah. So go sit in that chair over there, the director says to me. Your mom's on the phone. Go. Improv. And I like to say I should have writer's credit as well as writer's something. And then we get through that joyous time, and then I'm in the kitchen, and I say, what's that? And I say, well, it's an ice cream. Oh, really? Okay. So there's no prop master there. It's a skeleton crew. Everyone's gone. There's maybe 5 people around in the house that were doing it. And they didn't check the ice pick. So the first time, it did not retract. And so it left a nice little dent in my cheek, which is what they aimed for on the second take. But it did retract. So I was not a happy camper was the bottom line. And so, oh, look at him with his mouth open.
I feel like I should be putting my foot in my mouth now. I did not know
I
any
said
of
you
this.
really don't want to know. Right? So how joyous the first movie was for me was how ugly part 2 was. But you take this away with you, you can get through anything. You can survive, you can get through it. It's okay, and it wasn't a big deal in the scheme of life. But back then it crushed me for a little bit. And I had a stalker at the same time, so it was not a good combo. And that's why I went into voiceovers and looping and and ran off to London to study Shakespeare. And my art saved me. So here's something. If anyone is having a hard time, and Amy will probably testify to this, find some creative juices in you and explore them, and painting was my therapy and got me through a lot of bad times. So that's the end of that story on a high note.
Okay, for a palate cleanser memory after all of that unpleasantness just now, I remember.
Thanks for taking us down that road.
I'll take you down a better one.
Down memory lane.
I think it was your first Monster Mania back when the VIP parties were still held on Thursday. You put everyone to shame on the dance floor. Everyone. Adrienne can come right.
Did you know I was a dancer on Saturday Night Fever?
No.
I'm in every single dancing scene in Saturday Night Fever. And when John Travolta walks into the bar, this is because I was just starting out, and it's like, I was a dancer, how you have to act. You can either dance and sing and act or be one or the other, or you can be a triple threat. And I was trying to be a triple threat. So the good news is I can dance. And I had a friend at the time who used to go out disco dancing because it was so much fun. And so I grabbed him at this open call for Saturday Night Fever, and we went dancing at Studio 54 the night before with a bunch of other dancer friends I had, dancer friends. And we were the first 25 people who showed up at the call, and we all got into the movie. And we used to meet on 57th Street and take the subway down to Brooklyn. Brooklyn. We used to know exactly what it was. It was what's called the Odyssey, 2001. And history was made. We heard all the music first. And then we got to dance without the music. You had to count to yourself, and that, which is hard. We count and figure reality.
You were triple threat.
No, I said I tried to be triple threat. I never quite got the singing. But I can carry the tune, but that's about it. It was every scene, and so his brother and John were walking into this scene and into the club. His brother, the priest, he decided not to be a priest or whatever. I catch his eye high with a wine glass. Because that's what you do as an actress. You try to get up, it's like, under 5. Well, it didn't work. It was like under 1. Which means I didn't get worked up. I was just a dancer. But we didn't even get credit as dancers, I don't think, on that one. But I was in that, and I don't know how it came up. What did you ask? See, my memory is shocked. Oh, no. I need a partner to disco. One needs a partner. Do you disco? Do you disco?
Last year we had Veronica Cartwright singing Shake That Ass. This year we have Adrienne King doing disco during a panel. This is awesome.
Winemaker who's gone to school, who knows how to make wine. I've just been a wine purveyor.
Okay.
I know good wine. And I live in wine country. no-brainer because the people who own the winery comes to me. We're fans of Friday the 13th, and they said, join our family. And I said, what does that mean? They said, run our tasting room. So I did that for a year, learned everything I didn't know, and 3 months into it, I came up with the idea of Crystal Lake wines. There was someone in Seattle at the Crypticon came to me with a case of water, and it was Crystal Lake water. And I went, oh my God, Crystal Lake, public domain, gotta keep that in the back of my mind. And I approached them and I said, what do you think about Crystal Lake wines? I do my own artwork for your label. And they went, sure, let's try it. And we came out with a Chardonnay and a Cabernet Sauvignon, and they literally, it blew out the website. Everybody wanted it. And then we had 13 great years. And then I retired in 2023.
Oh. I need suggestions for a good rant, so I'm definitely going to hit you up after this is over. Chris and Stacy brought you back to camp when they started opening up the camp for tours. What was it like going back after all those years?
It was surreal. It made me feel like I was the same age as when I'd been there. And everybody says it makes them feel very young, like when they first saw the movie. And Amy came to the camp too. And we had lots of fun. And I'll probably go back again, but it's a wild time. We stayed in the cab, the actual cab, so it's a lot of fun.
Tell us about your time at camp, Amy.
Another time at camp? Well, it was fun. You know, I just want to go back to camp. Yeah, staying in the cabins, and I actually kind of like it because I like being outside. So at the conventions, a lot we do in the big hotels, and so you kind of don't go outside for 2.5 days. I mean, it's like, whoa. And then to be at the camp, to just kind of go from the cabins down to the lake, to the dining hall, to the bathrooms,
And it looks exactly the same. The Boy Scouts have really maintained it. And they have all my stories now, so they can carry on without us, you know, if they want to, which they do a lot now. But it's fun. It just makes you feel young again. Well, I think your camp.
yeah, my camp was in Connecticut, and that camp was here in Jersey, or in New Jersey.
Yeah.
In Connecticut, and it doesn't exist anymore.
So that's why they had to come over to our camp.
But where we shot was at camp too, cabins, camp, bathrooms, down in the whole building, feeling back home.
It was fun.
Amy, can you speak more about what you were telling me about how scary it was to actually film some of the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it's nighttime and the script says you're scared to death, and so adrenaline's always pumping anyway, and then let alone, you know, somebody's chasing you, but equally, you know, that's probably a third, and then another third of my fear was just not fucking up. You know, being a young actor at 20 and hitting all my marks and not being the one where everyone's mad because you wasted film and time. So, so that's probably counts for a third. And then third, just, I don't know, trying to get it right, you know, again, just for myself and doing the best job that we can. And imagining that somebody's chasing you, you know, it's really not that hard. But what's hard is getting the technical parts right at the same time.
Hitting your mark and remembering where the camera is. So much to process in a split second, you know.
Like the scene where he jumps through the window, like you look naturally startled.
Yeah.
Out the window, like.
Well, it's very scary. Even though you know that it's going to happen, it still crashes. The high-speed camera is making a really loud sound, and you have to hit those marks because you know that it takes hours to set the shot up. Warrington has the makeup run, which takes 6 hours or something to get that on. And so the reset, if it gets messed up, I think it's almost impossible to reset it the same night because there's so many moving parts to it. And also they have to review the daily, so that takes a day for it to all get developed. If they don't get developed, we get back, and then they say, do we get it or not? So there's so many components, and I just don't want it to be on my shoulders anymore. Else
Well, you did an amazing job, Jen.
Well, thank you.
Both of you.
Amy, are there any stories you can share with us about Steve Dash?
Steve Dash, what a good guy. He was really great in that he kind of kept his distance from me, and he was really doing his work. He really took care of me a lot because, as a young actress, I didn't have all the technical pieces down. And so when I was supposed to count to 5 and kick, I would count to 3 and kick. And it was right before he was ready. So like I kicked him in the nuts, I broke his ribs, I threw a machete through his finger, and he took it all in stride. He never blamed me, and later on, and I can mention, I heard him talk about how an actor is there for emotions, and that's what drives us, that's what drives us. See, a stunt person is there to get the stunt. So they're not really playing the whole emotional aspect, so they're just worrying about the right hand, like if they're a twister, right? We're doing like twister times 5 other aspects. So they can really think about where the body is at all times. As an actor, it's just like, I have no idea what the body's going to do, we're just scared. So it's putting it all together. So he was really, really patient and kind, and I remember after the show, it was the middle of the night, and it felt so horrible. And he had to go to the hospital, and he had the machete through his shoulder at that point, And so he walked in the hospital, and he was like, "You guys are so funny," and they were like, "Ah!" And then he goes, "No, it's my finger." And they're like, "What?" So he put in like 4 stitches and a prophylactic over his finger, and he came back to the set, and 3 hours later, that's when you get through the emergency room, 3 hours. And he just came back and just picked up wherever we left off. And I felt horrible. I remember Steve Meyer goes, "Don't worry about it, it's stunt man, they love it."
And I always wanted to ask, what happened to Paul? Would he end up dead, or?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows?
Oh, she knows. Oh, yes, she knows.
So part 3, the script that was offered to me. Ginny's at college. She goes down to do her laundry and opens the dryer, and his head is in there. And I come upstairs, and the police are near my room, and they're like, "Hey, you lent your car to your roommate, and we thought it was you, but she's dead." My convertible Volkswagen. The Beetle. So I call Ted on the phone and go, "Guess what? He's back." And Ted and I start trying to track down Jason. That's all that I got in the script. That was the first 50 pages.
Why didn't you put?
Because they wouldn't give her a gun.
No, and it was a great script, and I read it, 10 years ago, and I was like, "Oh my God, why did I say no to this script?"
But you didn't. You left it to your agent.
Yeah.
That's what happened, which is what we all do when we're young actresses. And
But also, at that time, these films were just going to be like a dime a dozen, like a dime store.
yeah, everybody was trying to
Western, I thought that's what these were going to be. Who knew? We'd be sitting here having these conversations.
so true.
Because technically it was supposed to end at 4, right? Or even before that.
I think as long as they made money, they didn't care.
Which is obvious, as it goes on, it gets a little more funky with each one. But the first one, when we first did it, it wasn't until they got the shot in the canoe and they saw that, I got a phone call and they said, "We're doing the next scene, they wrote the hospital scene after they saw what they had, because they went sequel. So since we hadn't set up a sequel, we had to do it. And so we set it up with that additional final scene. Because it was originally going to end with Jason, just doing that, and then they decided to make a sequel worthy. Money.
But is it true that the first and the second to end scene, each one was inspired by Carrie? Like the hand raising up the ring, like that shot value?
I've heard that, and I think I might have heard that on the set, so I'm guessing, sure. Yeah, I think Victor Miller even said he had taken it from Carrie. I think he said it. Someone said it. It worked. Everybody steals, though, in films,
No, they didn't shoot that script, they did an entirely different script,
They probably only did the first one.
It was a whole different deal. Don't they always take place like, the legend has it that 3 years ago or 5 years ago, there were all these kids in camp were killed, and it's probably not real.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where they pick it up every time.
Well, they do. It's
Yeah, I was watched it earlier. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Do you know I had people write to me on my Facebook Messenger, because Amy's smarter than I am, and they asked me to ask Amy what happened to Paul. You think I'm kidding? I'm not.
We'll start wrapping up in a couple minutes. Any last minute questions for Adrienne and Amy?
Yes, you did.
You've got the moment of the week there so far.
You did well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As you guys look back over 45 years, what do you ultimately think the legacy of the franchise is or is going to be?
The legacy of the franchise. Wow, that's a good one. What do you think? I'm going to ask you. You know them all. You know them well. You know them better than I do.
I'm not the one to ask. My go-to is Jason X. But I will revisit all of them from time to time. Every Friday the 13th, I've got to pop a Friday the 13th movie in. So how about you guys? What do you think the legacy of the franchise is? Or what keeps people coming back?
Badass girls!
They actually, do you remember Billy Butler tried to get something with Final Girls going after Tales of Hope? Remember he had the first 4 Final Girls say, well, if you can pull it off, he had this idea. Why should we have there was another movie that came out during that time, like 2015, about all these older guys that get together, I can't think of the name of it, and he said, why not put Final Girls? And he went to the studios, to all the studios, they went, who wants to see old women fighting? And this was 15 years, 10 years ago. I said, if they don't get us soon, I'm going to be on a walker before they figure it out. So, but seriously, it's been tried. It's just, that's the mentality. It is what it is.
Do either of you have anything you want to promote? Any projects in the pipeline, charitable organizations you want to make people aware of?
I have an online auction for my family. My father-in-law ran film companies, but he came from Egypt and he came from nothing. And he came to this country and booked tickets at the UA Theater on Broadway and rose to become president of the company. And he always gave back to children. And he passed away in 2018, and my sister-in-law and my husband and I are trying to keep it going. And it's called Children's Lifeline International. And we have an online auction, and I've posted it on my Instagram, and Adrienne King _official, because I've been hacked twice, or on my Facebook. I have the links there. And there's a bunch of very cool horror items. Colorado Festival, Horror Festival also contributed things because it's in Denver. And I have an original oil painting of Alice in her canoe with the Van Gogh Starry Night setting. And so that's my original painting that's there, but there's a lot of other cool items. So if you're into some early Christmas shopping or want some interest, and it's not just horror stuff because there's all sorts of things. But it's a fun thing to check out. It's Children's Lifeline International, and you can find the link on my pages. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Amy, anything you want to promote on your way?
No, I'm just living the dream. I'm promoting the dream.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming out. Give it up for Amy Steele, our disco queen.